15 years ago, Skoda made the Yeti. It was a really quirky small SUV that did everything really well. It was great to live with. It was a bit like having a loyal dog that would make you breakfast and bring you your slippers in the morning. But then it got old and it had to go and live on a farm, and they replaced it with this, the Skoda Karoq. It doesn't look half as interesting as the old Yeti, but in my experience, new cars do tend to be better than old ones. So in this video, we're going to find out if you should buy a Skoda Karoq or save a load of money and go and buy an old Yeti that hasn't been put out to pasture. Let's go. At 4.4 meters long, the Karoq is about the same size as a Nissan Qashqai, and it sits below the Kodiaq in Skoda's SUV range. But unlike the Kodiaq, it just doesn't look that interesting. There's none of Skoda's trademark cut glass crystal lights or anything like that. There is a facelift version which came out in 2022, which has a little kink here and gives you LED low beams as standard. But yeah, this doesn't look like much. Luckily, it makes up flat blandness very well in other areas. It's got personality, you could say. The Karoq's not going to win any points for style inside. The most stylish thing is probably this kind of grey and white stripy bit on the doors, but the tech is actually quite decent. The facelift model gets a digital dashboard. This one doesn't have it, but it's still got analog dials, and it feels just fine. They do all get, though, a nice sharp infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and frankly, it kicks the Nissan Qashqai's effort firmly in the teeth. Now, storage in here is really where you're going to win. Look at this. You've got this lid on the dashboard, and it's got a felt-lined cubby hole, so you can throw your car keys in there, your house keys, and they won't rattle around. That can't be said for the door bins. They're huge, but they're not lined with felt, so stuff will rattle around. And Skoda calls this the jumbo box. It's a big open hole, so you can chuck wet wipes in there or whatever you need. I've got USB-A down there. That's about it. We've got a big glove box. It's really good for storage. Just like every other Skoda, the Karoq's backseat practicality is really, really good. I've got loads of knee room, foot room, and headroom, and now because this is an FCL model, it's got these VariFlex seats. If I was a shorter person, I could put it forward and give myself more boot space, but I'm not. I'm selfish. That is my driving position, though. I've also got picnic tables. That's quite cool if you've got kids, and they have little fold-out cup holders on the side, so your kids can have picnics back here. And they're on a ratchet system, so you can't easily knock them back down when you've got a juice box perched perilously on top of it. But yeah, good space in here. I've got a 12-volt socket down there. Big door bins, again, not lined with felt, so stuff will rattle around. The ISOFIX points are just exposed. They're dead easy to get to without any fiddly covers. And although I don't have a center armrest as such, I can flip down the whole middle seat, and it's got cup holders in leather on the back of it, so you can relax. It's a really comfortable place to be. As with most Skodas, you get a decent amount of car for your money. So on everything apart from the entry-level version, you get front and rear parking sensors and a reversing camera, which is handy. And obviously, being a Skoda, the boot is simply huge. It's 588 litres, and you've got this boot floor, which actually has a spare wheel, a real spare wheel. I haven't seen one of those for about 10 years. Now, on higher spec models, you get VariFlex rear seats, which can slide forwards and backwards to give you more boot space, or you can actually hoik them out entirely, chuck them in your garage, and then you've got over 1,800 litres of space. It turns it into a van, which is incredible. Now, most Karoqs can tow 1.5 tonnes on a brake trailer. If you get a 4x4 version, most of them are about 2.1 tonnes. So it really is a bit like the Yeti in that it can do it all, and it's very practical. But let's see how it drives. Look, I told you it could tow. It's a real Skoda Karoq towing to a caravan site to have some adult fun. To drive, the Karoq is leagues ahead of the old Yeti. The progress is very much real. It is more comfortable, it's easier to drive, undoubtedly safer, and it's got a better range of engines that really do blend economy and efficiency. You can get this with a 1 litre engine with 115 horsepower, which doesn't sound like much, but when you drive it, it's just fine for everyday driving. I would probably still pick this, the 1.5 litre petrol with 150 horsepower. It's powerful and it's efficient, and it can turn off half of the cylinders when you're cruising to give you more MPG. There's a bunch of diesels as well. Get the 2 litre 150 diesel. It is the pick of the bunch, and all the engines are going to get between 42 and 55 MPG, depending on what you pick. It's also a safe car. It's got a 5-star Euro NCAP rating, albeit from back in 2017 when the test was a bit easier than it is these days, but it's just so easy to drive. The gearbox is light, the clutch is light, it's easy to see out of, but most importantly, it's really comfortable over bumps. It's just incredibly easygoing and easy to live with. And if, like me, you've got a couple of young kids, I don't want to be thinking about avoiding potholes or bumps in the road. I want to be sending them to sleep in a comfortable car. But anyway, that's enough of my wittering. Let's go back to Motorpoint for a conclusion. So to conclude, the Skoda Karoq ticks basically all of the practicality boxes. It's got a big boot, it's got roomy back seats, and it's got enough storage to store more wet wipes than you can feasibly ever use. Now, obviously, I don't think it looks as interesting as the older Skodas, and there's no real Yeti DNA in it, other than perhaps those slidable and removable rear seats. But do you know what? I kind of don't care. It's got a great range of engines. It's efficient, it's powerful enough, and it does everything that I would ever need as a family person. So yes, it gets many points out of 10, probably 9 if I was going to give it a score. It's a great car, it's just not that interesting to look at. Thank you ever so much for watching this. Please like it if you found this useful or entertaining. Subscribe to Motorpoint YouTube channel because we've got plenty more nearly new car reviews coming soon. I'll see you next time.